So I'm gonna start by wishing our Kenyan viewers a happy Jamhuri Day. I'm really sorry, I just realized that I was on mute. So, Kenyan viewers, happy Jamhuri Day. Um, Today we're having a kind of like a special session. That's what I was saying. A special session where we are trying to look at where we have come as Mandisi Talks through the year 2025. But also because we've never done like a review of One Day Talk since it started, I mean, it would be great to kind of like look at that as well, like where we came from. And I wanted to give like a backstory. And Uhandisi Talks started in 2023. And so its foundation or how it got to begin was just I came to realize there is very little content of engineers just having a conversation. You know, we have a lot of I know right now with platforms like LinkedIn, engineers kind of share experiences, but it's mostly very technical. Or I got to do this. Yeah, I won here. Yes, I did this. I was able to do this. I was able to go here. So it's really not conversational. And having graduated, I found myself needing lots of information about different kinds of things. And it's just like small information that would make like a really great impact or that would change kind of like would be very helpful to make decisions. But the one that I can actually remember the most is I think it's when I finished my coursework, I actually didn't know where to apply for a job. I knew there was site, yes, but an office, I have to tell you, I had no idea what kind of office to to go apply for a job. And so I turned to Google and I Googled engineering consulting firms in Nairobi. As you can see, I started from a very limited positions because in my mind, the only option I had was either I go to site or a consulting firm, which I think I had known of because of the programs we had in universities. That time we were moving from farm to farm doing some project. So it was kind of very limited view of what I could do with this paper that I had achieved. So I started looking for information and I couldn't really find it. Then I realized that my peers were also in the same position. They didn't have that guidance, they didn't have that information, just like me. I didn't have it, they didn't have it. So I guess I worked first, and then in 2023, now when we started One DC Talks, what happened was I had a side job, and the workload was a bit manageable. So I found myself having a lot of free time. And there's a video I did on a review, now that we're reviewing our videos, on my experience on my first side job. And I noticed that I had a lot of free time. And I guess I just decided 1 month into that job that, this thing that I've been thinking about, why not? Why not share the information that I have gained in this 1 year? At that time I had worked for a year. Why not share the information that I've gained in this year, and then see what happens? So yes, I did the first video on the very first thing I struggled with, which was the career paths in civil engineering that were available. So this video, actually, I look at it right now, and can you imagine? I still can think of so many things to add to that list. And right now we have a team and all, and one of our team members, Viola, was actually the one who came up with this idea. And now that we got to see it through, I think of actually doing a review of each and every of our videos, because I noticed when I look at the career options that I had listed for civil engineering in my very first video, I gave like a very, like, I think 15 plus options. But I still, when I watch that video right now, I feel like I need to add more and more and more. So I think maybe in the future, let me know if that's something that you're interested in. We can maybe do a review of each and every video. We can make it 5 minutes, but also for such we can, I think a comment section or something can work. But then there are others that I really feel like a full review is necessary. And one of those is like the talk we did on the video I did on, it was a 4-part video on CPD, continuous professional development, and how to log your points, the PDUs on the EBK platform, and all that. So what I noticed just recently is it's changed. I know I had listed for you the categories that you had and what you have under each of those categories. It has changed completely, and I think right now you need like to attend ABK activities to get up to, I think, 22 points, which is so different from what was there. So for that one, another an updated video might be necessary. But for others, I think maybe we can use the comment section. But if you need like a whole review, please let me know. So I want this to be as conversational as possible. And whether you're with me right now or you're watching this, you're replaying this, type in the comment right now. If you're with me and you type, I'm gonna see it on my screen, and I'm going to be able to see what you're saying. I want to know how Wendy Talks has been able to impact you. Because just like I've said, this was something that was supposed to help other people. And if it was supposed to be just for me, I could have easily gone and asked someone, gotten the information, and okay, sorted myself. Or I could have gone, done some research, and gotten the information I needed, and then, continued your life. But this was so that it can be able to reach every engineer in the corner of this world. Actually, I know it started, I think when I started I was doing videos like engineering jobs that you can do in Kenya and things like that. But we have actually grown right now, and we are having contributors from all over the world. But they say charity begins at home. So yeah, we started at home, and the videos I did, I made sure I focused on like what we have here in Kenya first. And now that we talk of opportunities, job opportunities, there are jobs that we usually share on our LinkedIn page. And we were just thinking recently to add like a hashtag that they're easy to find. And we started actually sharing like worldwide, because we noticed that we have a following outside, like not just in Kenya, like we have a following all over the world, and also a lot of interest to contribute all over the world as well. In our last talk, we had Engineer Vincent from Zimbabwe, and he contributed in the engineering climate resilient infrastructure. And he was so excited to come together and contribute to that topic with Kenyan engineers. And a bit later, I think we're going to talk about what's coming up for the coming year. But for now, I think I'd like us to kind of like have an overview of our videos. So I have a list here with me. I was able to list all the videos that we've ever done. Then I think I'd like to know at the end of this, not at the end really, because we're going to be talking about different things, but I'd like to know which of these videos has been able to impact you the most. Like, just let me know. And then we're gonna also have like a time when we'll be talking about um, what we want to do for the future. But for now, we want to know which has impacted you the most. So let's start. I'm reading. I have like a list of all the videos that we've been able to do. And as they say, they started with my own field, which was civil engineering. And at the start, something that I also have to say is when I started, I used to do like pre-recorded videos. I used to sit, do research on a certain topic, record the video, and then upload it. So that happened, I think, for the first year. We did the pre-recorded videos. The second year, nothing. I got a different kind of job, which was very tasking. So what happened is I wasn't really able to give a lot to these talks. So if you look at our page, a lot was dormant for like a period of a year. And I don't want to lie, like many people were asking for more talks. Only two people asked me. Two. And they asked me, Marion, what happened to the one DC talks, conversations? Two of them. And for a whole year, I desired, to have, to kind of figure out this new work demands, to kind of find a way to find some kind of routine that will work for me so that I can be able to come back to Andisi Talks. Because to be honest, it is so tasking to get these videos out there, whether it's a pre-recorded video, whether it's a live, whether it's a live that I'm not speaking in and someone else is speaking. It takes a lot to have these lives and these videos and this content out there. So at that particular time, I wasn't able to. And for that period, I think at the end of the year, I was able to do one video. and and these two people, I have to tell you, those two, they kept me thinking about the next time that I will be able to have a video out for the viewers. But also, some of the things that I've been able to share has also been like surveys, because I've also wanted to know, like, what do you guys want? Like, what questions do you have? What would you like to see more on DC Talks? Because on DC Talks is slowly building. We're trying to fit on that shoe. The goal is to become a global home for engineering conversations, and we're slowly getting there, one step at a time. And we want to know, what would you like to see us talk about? Because this is a space for engineers where we can just come and, talk about what's on our mind. It doesn't have to be technical stuff. We can even just discuss, whatever we want to discuss, laugh about it. It doesn't have to be so structured. So I wanted to know, what do engineers want to see more of? And we did, I think, so far I've been able to do 2 surveys. But also in this talk, I also would like, apart from the video that you'd like the most, it would be really great also to know some of the things, some of the conversations that you'd like to see happening at One DC Talks, some of the questions that you have in your mind, some of the talks that you needed, that you feel like we need to have. And recently we had Engineers Baraza, and and one of the conversations we had there, Engineers Baraza with Asekifel, was on mental health. And you can imagine, sometimes as engineers, maybe we can never even think of having conversations like mental health. But it's very important because the work we do is it has a lot of pressure. Number one. And right now, speaking for Kenyan engineers, the market is not doing very well. And sometimes starting out in this career in this part of the world is not very easy. And it's very easy to get discouraged. So mental health was something that I had it. I went to that baraza and I was like, yeah, this is a right conversation for engineers, especially right now. So those are some of the things that I want to hear from you. What do you want to see more of? What do you want us to talk about? What conversations do you want us to have? And speaking of what we're going to be doing in the future, um, and today I'm just speaking to you. I don't want to have some kind of a complicated structure. Yesterday, I actually just posted about this talk that we're having, and actually we had people expressing interest. So some of the talks that we want to have, some of the conversations that we want to see, like why not do one on this field of engineering? And I'm like, yeah. So we have a registration form for for kind of like scheduling our talks, so that we can be able to prepare in advance. So I'll share that at the end of this live. I'll be able to share that registration form where you can register to contribute to a topic. And then we can also see how we can slot that in our upcoming conversations. That said, let's review our talks now. Starting with the first one, civil engineering career paths. So this one was the very first talk that I had, and I was telling you it was because of the questions that I had in that, just not knowing what to do with this paper that I'd gotten. And just asking yourself, what do you mean you didn't know what to do with the paper? Actually, I didn't practice or I didn't get that exposure before I graduated, partly because Corona happened before I graduated. Um, uh, so I think that was a contribution. But I actually had no clue. So that's where the video I did the civil engineering career path. And just to give you that, give anyone who needed that information, that exposure of this is what you can do with this degree that you have, and you don't really have to do, they're the conventional things that comes to your mind first. And I think I have not exhausted this one. And I always encourage people to add whatever they think has not been included, because honestly I can't know everything, but I try to do as much research as possible. And as I was saying, when I was looking at this, I actually thought I should add a couple more options, and I'll do that. Um, so I think I gave 15 plus career options, and every other field, because as I kept going, I realized quickly that we were getting like an audience from other fields of engineering that I wasn't able to help. I could go and do my research on something like electrical engineering, but because I'm not in that field, the audience are not able to relate to me. So that's actually how the live thing came. Because no, not really the live thing, because I remember the first time I had a speaker from electrical engineering, we actually did a pre-recorded video, and we did electrical engineering career paths, we did PMP, and we did professional registration. It was a pre-recorded video. But now how the lives came to be was we were having comments after the pre-recorded videos. And initially, I didn't mind having a comment later to my video, somebody asking a question, because the information was from me. So if they asked a question, I could easily engage with them and answer. But then when I started having contributors from other fields, then you find that when later on people who replay these talks, when they ask a question, they can't really get a response. Why? Because the speaker is not with me at the moment, and the speaker can't keep track of all the comments that come in. So then the lives came up where we can have, live talk with you, like just the way you are here with me right now. And you can actually ask me a question. Like if you ask me a question right now, whatever you say actually will be popped on my screen, and I'll be able to answer you live. That's how the lives came up. So we did the civil engineering career paths, and then where civil engineers can work in Kenya. Of course, I told Charity Begins at home, so we started with Kenya, started with what I knew, and I did some research. And also, this one, I absolutely know that there are more and more and more that we can add. So please go to these videos. If there's somewhere you work and we've not included, put it there. Because what we want to see is okay, just give like a holistic picture of the options that are available to you. And now that I have spoken of that electrical engineering talk, the electrical engineer used to work in KRA. And yes, I think later on I started seeing like internship applications for KRA. But just tell me, like, when you started studying whatever engineering you're studying right now, did you ever think that you'd be working for KRA, the KRA? No. So those kinds of things, so that you don't have that limited views of what you can be able to do. I think then we moved to the electrical engineering talk. So that these were three that we did at the same time. As I said, electrical engineering career paths, and I think also that one we had focused a lot on Kenya, and this we did with engineer Buta or Indy. And he also took us through because he's a registered professional engineer. He also took us through how to register, like the process, and then also took us through PMP. So after we did that, I did a couple of recorded videos as well on some of the things that you note. A very short video. It was like a 3-minute video on, before you finish school, you need to look at this. Just last week part one, I was at the University of Nairobi, and going back there it was just something. And we were talking on industry readiness, and I think I put on my social media, I'm going to University of Nairobi. What do I tell them? And most people are saying, make sure you tell them, the reality of what's in the industry, the reality of what's waiting for them. And I think that's what I tried to put in this video. I don't know if any of you, after you graduated, you actually thought you were sorted, like, I got the engineering degree out here, they're gonna come looking for me and things like that. So they were telling me, you make sure you tell them how the industry looks like right now. Make sure you tell them how it is. But even at work, I hear things like, no, it never used to be like this. Right now, things are so tough. It never used to be like this. And so sometimes I actually think to myself, it's one or two things. Number one is either we are extremely resilient, because, actually, sometimes when people talk about, the people who like talking about this generation, and stuff like that, I think we're very resilient. Like, because the challenges that you have right now, it's crazy. But also, the opportunities that you have are also, you have new opportunities, kind of different kinds of opportunities than we had then. I wasn't there, but I tend to think so. But also something that a friend of mine recently shared that actually made sense was that, you see, when people make those comparisons, like this generations, I don't know the act, I don't know in what way. what happens is number one is the generational gap that brings a difference, but also every generation has its unique kind of problem that they need to figure out how to solve. And sometimes what worked for the last was not gonna work now. So either of the two. It's either we are resilient or we have new problems that we have to figure out how to solve. It's a good thing we are engineers and we're problem solvers. Then so I included some of the things that in my experience I thought, engineering graduates just take note of this. Um, and then I think I talked about also the mentorship session for IK. The reason why I did this is because I thought people needed to know about it. I don't know if you ever found like registration daunting, registration process, and myself having facilitated those IK mentorship sessions. I think now it's been 3+ years. I have to tell you, I found it so easy even before I qualified to apply. I found it just being in those sessions made it look so simple. So I was like, why are people so afraid to register? It looks very simple. I mean, this is all you need to do. Part one, this is a CV. Part two, you take one of the projects you've done and you write a report on it. Yet people are so afraid to do it. So I decided, okay, why not put this out there? Tell them, there's this platform that you can be able to join and it will help you, um, get through this registration process as soon as possible. And what happens is you present your report and you have a group of engineers telling you, no, no, correct this, do this one, do like this one, do like this. So that's now when you go to the ABK panel, the report is, it's good. So you are less likely to have the back and forth. So I also actually linked there the IK mentorship groups for different fields: mechanical, electrical, civil, agricultural. I linked the so if you look at the comment section of that particular video, I had linked the links to the mentorship sessions, the IK mentorship sessions for each and every category of engineering that we have. So if you're watching from outside Kenya, IK is Institution of Engineers of Kenya. So they have created these mentorship groups to help graduate engineers transition to professional engineer status. And then we went and I did 4-part video on CPD. So I did introduction to CPD, what it is, the Engineers Act, what it says about CPD, why is it that we're doing this thing? And then I went to where you can earn your professional development units that now you log into the EBK portal. This is the one that I was telling you we might need an updated video because I realized the CPD policy changed. Again, this is very biased to the Kenyan viewers because when we started, it was mostly focused on like what we have here at home. But then now we are growing to more general conversations and we're having contributors from different parts of the world. So the CPD that I put it's for the Engineering Board of Kenya portal. And this one for where you can earn PDUs from is the one that I was saying needs an update. And also you can let us know if it's different in your country, how you do it. You can also let us know. We can do a separate video that will help engineers from that part of the world. So here we need to update because the EBK, Engineers Board of Kenya's CPD policy changed. And right now, the one that I noted was number one, you need 22 points for EBK activities. And then the kind of activities also changed. I think some of them changed. So this one will schedule an update and you guys subscribe, put the notification, you will be able to see when we do an updated video on that. Or you can join our email list as well. We'll email you. What else did we do next? We did the how to navigate the ABK CPD portal. And somehow this CPD video is the one that people like they found it. I mean, people know the most. And the reason why I say this at work, two of my colleagues, I think, and at that time I was relatively new in that organization, I'm like, oh, I saw, like, if I think when you Google Engineers Board of Kenya, you kind of meet these CPD videos. So they kind of like, oh, Engineers Board of Kenya, CPD, and then they land to One DC Talks. That's the kind of thing that we want One DC Talks to be giving you those answers. So please let us know the questions in your mind, like whoever wants to look for information on how to log in points, how to log into the EBK portal, how to log in the points. All you have to do is when you type on Google, I'm sure it will lead you to One DC Talks. So that's why we say inform, mentor, build. Yeah, that's One DC Talks for you. So yes, I did that. On how to navigate the EBK portal. And then I also did another one. It was a short on exemption, CPD exemption, some of the times that you can be exempted from CPD. I think one of them is when you're sick for a long time, when you're retired, and others. Please watch. Yeah, and then we moved on to that was the first year. Actually, I think we did so much. We just started out, and it was the first time I sat behind a camera and I was talking to myself. It was so weird. um, but I did a lot. So the next thing I did was the talk now. First time. I think up to that point, those 7 videos, I noticed, I this thing it has uhandisi engineering. It can't just be civil. So I got Engineer Windy to talk about electrical engineering. I mean, if civil engineers are having these questions, electrical engineers must be having them as well. So we had Engineer Indy talk about electrical engineering, and he took us through opportunities to kickstart your electrical engineering career. His story, he also gave us his story. The good thing about having this speakers is they give you their stories, their experiences, and if you're in that field, you actually relate to it. That's what I'm saying. This is a conversational platform, very conversational, very chilled place just for us engineers to talk about our stuff. We need to have that platform. Let's just talk about our stuff. The other day, I went to a certain restaurant in town, and they had done staircases with steel. And interestingly enough, I've seen the spiral staircase at the back of the building with steel made of steel, but now inside a building, I had never seen it. I think they did that temporarily to renovate the plate. I don't know actually, but I don't know if that's intentional. It's very rare to have a steel staircase in a building. So I noted that and I was like, So I entered the building. The first thing I noticed is like a steel staircase, and I was looking at the threads, and I was looking at how it's connected to kind of like the beam you have on the side of the staircase. And I was like, so is this just welded here or what? And looked at how the whole thing was made. Then I got to the next floor, and guess what I saw there? A connection as I beam. I no, it was a column. H section connection, and they had done a splice. And that's just what I had been designing in the office the other day. So I was like, oh, splice. Let me tell you, everyone I was there with was not an engineer. I wished I had an engineer to just have this conversation with. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, can we just have a space where we're talking about engineering things, engineering experiences, what you want to see in this engineering industry? That's what Mandisi Talks is about. So we had one engineer Hindi, he was sharing his experiences, he was sharing his experiences. He was sharing some of the places. How actually he was actually sharing how he started out as well. For him, he had actually started a bit earlier. And then he also shared like some of the places electrical engineers can work. He also shared uh, he also shared some of the career paths as well for electrical engineers, so that you don't think you can just go work at KPLC. No, KPLC, again, I'm so sorry, this is biased to Kenya. We started at home. KPLC is a Kenyan electricity. Uh, Please don't tell me you don't know what KPLC is. Kenya? What is P? Please, if you're viewing right now, help me. Kenya, C. I don't know. There's no electricity in KPLC. So guys, just allow me to Google. That's kind of crazy. KPLC. KPLC. Oh, Kenya Power and Lighting Company. Yeah. So don't just think, okay, I've reviewed the electrical engineering. Where do I work? KPLC, KenGen. KenGen should be Kenya Electricity Generation Company, at least that I know. Yeah. Oh, and I'm having a like or a love from Oluwafemi Akinruntan. I hope I got that right. You're most welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in. So we continue with the review. So remember, this is the first year. We're still talking about what we were able to do in the first year. And then we actually did another talk. Why PMP? Why do PMP? Because at that time I was hearing a lot of PMP. What is this? What is this? Then I realized Engineer Hindi had done PMP. So I had her tell us, what is PMP? Why would somebody want to do this? Just to have that information beforehand. Because that's one of the things that Wandisi Talks does is to inform. And for you to even make a decision, you need information. Like, because this is an investment. And from what I heard, it's not a very little investment. It's investment in time, it's investment in money. So it would be good to hear from somebody who has done it, been there, and you're able to say, why did he do it? What's in there? What can I do after? Is that what I want to do? No. Have you gotten information or not? You've gotten the information. And so by you getting that, you're able to kind of make a decision about it and move on to the next thing. And what you get, you might ask yourself, I might just go Google. I might just go and Google, why should I do PMP? Go to their website. But it just removes that, talk, that humanness that we have. Let's talk about this. How's been your experience been? It has a different kind of feel. Right? We also know that was the end of the conversation with Engineer Inde. Professional registration, where to work, career path for electrical engineers, PMP. Actually, I think we did like an all-rounded talk on electrical engineers, and then we added PMP and registration as a bonus. That was the end of the first year. That's what we were able to do. It's like I was just holding on all this and I had the opportunity and poof, I put it all out there. Then, what I was telling you, I got a new job and it was very demanding, very. I couldn't do anything on Wandisi Talks. And so that's the year that we had only one video, and this video I did on diploma. Let me tell you why I did this video on diploma. In that period of a year, I told you that I only had 2 people reaching out. 2. I don't want to lie, as content creators, sometimes we lie. Oh, you guys, you've been asking for this video and stuff. No. Only 2 asked. Two, like this asked. Marion, what happened to the Wandisi Talks conversation? And I carried those 2 people in my mind. And I just wanted to find balance, even if I would come back to Wandisi Talks because of those 2. I wouldn't mind. So I did this talk because one of them was a diploma graduate in Kisumu. Sorry about that. One of them was a diploma graduate in Kisumu. So I actually Um, I actually, I actually, I'm so sorry. I might need to pick this call. So what I'll do is let's take a 5 minute break and then we'll talk about the diploma guy. That's all right. In the meantime, please let me know what talk has impacted you the most. Um, what talk has impacted you the most? What would you like us to talk about in the coming talks? Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, let's continue. So I was saying, I did the one talk on the second layer because of this one, this one diploma graduate who is in Kisumu, one of the two who reached out to me in that period of a year. And so I talked about some of the careers you can have with a diploma in civil engineering. And yeah, actually that video really did well. I didn't notice we had, yeah, because I also had questions. When I do a video about registration, the diploma engineers, graduates would ask me, can we register? Or they would ask me when I do the career part, what can you do with that diploma? And I think when I did the civil engineer one, I included the ones that you can do with a diploma. Yeah, so I did this one for those for those people, for that one person, sorry, not people. I did this video for one person. So the feedback is very important because whatever you're having in mind, somebody else is asking themselves the same question. So that's why, yeah, we did the one, and then we did the next. Now, a coming year, I think I finally was able to, figure out how to juggle, you know, the work demands, and I could be able to do one DC talks, and started with lives, doing lives. Let me tell you, the first live I did on this platform, and I think we're still working on a lot, to improve our show. I don't want to call it a show. I don't know why I don't want to call it a show. But the lighting was terrible. But the conversation was so rich. I had a good time. So we had a talk with engineer Rufaro. She's a chemical engineer from South Africa, and she gave us like the whole package on chemical engineers where you can work. And I told her, just be free. You can tell us where you can work in South Africa, no problem, or world over, no problem. So we did the career path, and even her, same thing with civil, same thing with electrical. The unconventional places. She was talking about chemical engineers working in a bank and she was being shocked. And so such things is those kinds of the information, those are the kind of information that actually I envisioned getting out there. And and if someone says, I want to be a chemical engineer, they actually know what they're getting themselves into because some of these career paths are just societal pressures, engineer. I was talking about the baraza. In the last baraza, we were talking about free conversations and how the title engineer can actually be traumatizing. I mean, they hear you're an engineer and there is expectation that comes with it, you know? And when things are still tough and you're still trying to figure out things, it might actually be very stressful. And so when someone wants to enter into these places, I mean, they actually know what they're getting themselves into, and it's not just because of societal pressures, to have the title engineer. And number two, if you are in that field, you actually know some of the other options that are available to you. So that's why we actually are doing these deep dives. We've done chemical, we've done civil, I did civil, engineering did electrical, engineering Faro did chemical. And in the upcoming talks, we're going to have more of these deep dives until we cover all fields of engineering. Then, what did you do next? Let's see. Should you pursue a master's degree? That was becoming a very common question. Should you pursue a master's degree? This, yeah, this one I did is that this was pre-recorded. I did it, but I also had someone speak on it as well. So it's done in two parts. I did it and I had Sylvester speak on it. Sylvester is a construction management professional. So this was the question that was also coming up. Should I do an MSc? And what I did is give reasons why there are good reasons why you should do it, and why. Oh, okay, the reasons why you should consider doing it, and what not to expect from it, because that's also something else. I think even when I was doing the video to the engineering students, I think what I was trying to tell them is this is what you should not be expecting. You know, this is where you should have the expectation. This is the extra that you need to do. So this is what I was trying to say is, okay, these are the reasons why you can consider doing a master's degree. Do you want this? Okay, a master's degree is gonna work for you. Do you want this? A master's degree is probably going to work. Let me use the word probably gonna work for you. But this is what you shouldn't expect it to do for you, right? So that's what I did in that. And then, since I have not done a master's degree, I decided to, bring someone who had actually done it and tell us, some of these things that we're talking about, is it theoretical or is it actually real? And after that conversation, it was actually confirmed. And now that I speak about these two talks on if you should do a master's degree or not, there is professional in LinkedIn. She's a lawyer. There's a time she was talking about something about career, something actually. I'm sorry, I can't remember what she was saying. I mean the title, but what she was talking about was career progression. And what she said actually was so impactful to me. I think I shared it on LinkedIn as well. The question is not what do I do next? It's what do you already have? It's that it was so transformational because we always want to add, 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 add. But like the question was, what do I already have? What skills do I already have? Have I fully utilized the skills? Have I fully made use of this degree that I got? Have I fully made use of these skills that I have as at now? Yeah. And then when I want to add to all this, why do I want to add? Where do I want to get to? So the right question is, where do I want to get to? And then once you answer that one, then you're able to see what steps do I make to get here? And then you'd be able to answer the question, do I need a master's degree or not? So we did that. I did the video, I did my research, did the video, and then I had somebody who had done a master's degree speak on it as well. And then I did another video also on timeless skills that engineers should have. Those skills that there are so many skills that you need right now because the field keeps changing, but also there are those skills that will stay, that are here to stay. And then we also did a conversation, another live, on building global engineering career. This one we did with engineer Dennis Muyonga. He's a Kenyan engineer. Right now he's working at in the Gulf region. He's a principal water engineer with AECOM. We had such rich conversations, and the reason why I say this is sometimes when you think about, you as an engineer back here at home or wherever you are, like going out there in the world, putting yourself out there, you might actually feel like you're not qualified or like you need to do more or add more. But what I got from Engineer Muyonga's conversation is, in the world stage, your skills are very important, um, because it's the skills that will sell you, number one. The papers might get you through the door, but it's the skills that will actually keep you there. But also, what I got is you already have what it takes. That was actually throughout the conversation. That's what I was hearing, because my expectation was he would come and tell us, oh, for you to get here, you need to have this, you need to register with this body. But what he was saying is, you actually already have what it takes to work in any part of this world. It might okay, I don't wanna say something that he didn't say. So can you go there and watch that video so you you find out about the rest of the things? But actually, it's it was transformational for me. Another thing, the next talk, sorry, AI in day-to-day engineering. Another live we did with engineer Maureen, a transport engineer, and also Kevin Nagumba, material technician. We did with David Morendi, civil engineer and a contractor. And this one, we talked about this topic of AI. I had planned for this talk for months, and I was so happy when we were able to get it out there because AI is here, and us as engineers, we're actually using AI one way or another, and whether you know it or not. And we wanted to just share knowledge, how are you experiencing this artificial intelligence? How are you using it? How is it helping you? Is there a tool that you know that can help someone else? Okay, so you tell us the tool that you know, and then you also tell us the tool that you know. And for that talk, I could actually have 10 speakers, without a problem. And it was actually very informative. Then we went to a talk on agricultural and biosystems engineer. We actually thought that we want to do spotlights for engineers. Like we want to spotlight engineers. What are you doing out there? What solutions are you providing? We want to hear that. So we did our first spotlight on Engineer Joram Jochemo. He's an agricultural and biosystems engineer. It was also kind of like a mini deep dive into agricultural and biosystems engineer, but it might need like a better deep dive with places you can work and things like that. And then we also did engineering food security. Now, when we talked with Engineer Joram, we realized that he's doing amazing things. He has an organization called Big Pharma, and so we decided to spotlight that as well. And then we wrapped up with engineering climate resilient infrastructure. And also a very rich conversation with Faith Ego and Vincent Fumo. And we talked practical tips about climate resilience. And what I can say about that talk is that it was kind of like made very simple, like in a way that you can understand. Because you see some of these things, like, climate change, it's been talked about a lot. And sometimes you're like, you know about it, but you actually really don't know about it. But in that conversation, you actually could get the tips to apply right in your job. Though it might be biased, truthful. Yeah, that's why I want to hear from you. Like, how is this relevant to you? What could somebody speak about climate change in a view of electrical engineering or 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 or, or petroleum engineering? So let us know, what do you want to see more of at One DC Talks? So we've had feedback, and for every feedback we have, we actually do listen. Most of them, it's about the conversations that we've had, the talks that we've had. Like, okay, this is like a comment on a specific talk or a specific conversation. Some of them recommendations, some of them, can we do this? And I actually like things like that. And coming up for 2026, we already have, I think, January, February, I think part of February, we already have talks coming up. We have a talk, I was talking about the deep dives we need to do, all fields. We have an upcoming talk on mechanical engineering deep dive in January. So mechanical engineers, be on the lookout. We'll have we'll talk about everything mechanical engineering, where you work, and the speaker is also an industrial engineer. So let's see what we'll be able to talk about. So you can bring your questions in advance. We usually have registration forms. When you register, there's a place where you can comment the questions. Sorry about that. The questions that you have, what you want asked, and stuff like that. Another thing that we're looking to do also, so far we've scheduled, I think we're working on a leadership talk or a workshop. Let us know which one works best. And then the mechanical engineering, also a talk on biomedical engineer. Actually got that feedback just yesterday, and we're gonna have that scheduled. So let us know. Um, I think that will cover us for like until March. But for the rest of the year, next year, what would you like us to talk about? What would you like to hear more of? What conversations do you want us to have? What professionals would you like to see us host here? That's what we want to get from you. I think that will be it for our review, for our recap. Please, if you're not able to be with us in the live, we'd like to hear your feedback in the comment section. But apart from that, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much. I think we had one comment from actually, I think he's loving our talks. I think I, I had already I had already acknowledged him. So thanks for joining. Thank you so much. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. Cheers.